We'll be starting Lent with Ash Wednesday this Wednesday. My name is Ben. My pronouns are he and they, and I am excited for today's worship service. It's called Fundamentalism or Pluralism. John and James will perform our anthem today. Our membership co-chairs and members will welcome some new members, and today's worship associate is the head of our worship team, Allison Longkey. Good morning, Allison.
Good morning, everybody. You guys are so sweet.
They really are.
So thank you, Ben. And if you want a church that welcomes ideas with curiosity and respect from around the world, you may have found your church home. If you want a church that has believers that believe in Taoism, Hinduism, Christianity, Judaism, Muslim, shamanism, agnostics, atheists, and more, you may have found your church home.
Fantastic. Thanks, Allison. Now we have 3 brief announcements this morning. I will be in the library after worship service for time with the minister. All are welcome there, and yes, you can bring your coffee.
We have UU St. Pete's LGBTQIA+ brunch today at 12:45. Please see Chris McDonald or meet up at the Frog Pond Restaurant. We do require reservations, so if you could let Chris know, that would be appreciated.
Finally, today is a good, there she is, she waved her hand. That was Chris.
Oh.
You're all invited to the church retreat on Saturday, March 22nd, and inside your order of service are many delightful things, and one of those things is a link to sign up, and the draft of our proposed community covenant will be unveiled at that retreat.
Please read the rest of your announcements in the order of service, in our weekly newsletter, and on the TV in Gilmore during coffee hour.
Now, I've already talked to a couple of you who are new, so I will let you know that as Unitarian Universalists, we are a people of diverse beliefs, many of the beliefs that Allison just said, but we do share a common faith that every being is worthy of love, that what we do in this world matters, and that we're connected to one another and to the earth. So whoever you are and wherever you are in your journey, you are welcome here.
So allow us to give a special welcome to any newcomers. If you are new to UU St. Pete or even relatively new, can you give us a wave? Ah! I'm so glad you're here. Reverend Ben will be coming around with a microphone. If you would like to introduce yourself, optional, that would be a great time to let us know.
Hello, my name is Barbie, and I'm really excited to be here. I have heard about the Universalist Church for a while, and I'm just really curious to see how this goes. So, nice to meet you all.
Ingrid Bredenberg and my husband, Berkeley. Ben often comes to hear and it was time we came to see what his act is all about. Came with our friend Shara Geiger.
Good to see you.
Hi, my name My name is Catherine. I grew up in the UU Church in North Carolina, so it's nice to come down here and see some new faces and get back into this.
Welcome.
Good morning, Ron and Maureen. We live in South St. Pete. We've lived here for several years, and Maureen has a little bit of experience with your church, and we're excited to be here. Thank you.
Anybody else? Going once? Going twice? Sold. You're all trapped here. Sorry, thank you guys for sharing, and thank you for silencing your cell phones. Regarding masks, we do, if you would like to wear one, we do encourage you to wear one as you're willing and comfortable. So now is the time for us to turn and greet our neighbors. Say hello to someone new today. Please remember to get consent if you're going to shake hands or hug. So we're going to time for 1 minute. All right, go ahead.
This is a great time for kids to go to their classes. Let us sing them to their classes. Go now in peace. Go now in peace. Go now in peace. May the Spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Please rise if you're willing and able for our first hymn, For All That Is Our Life. It's number 128 in the gray hymnal.
Is our life, we sing our thanks and praise, for all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days bright. For needs which others serve, services we give, for work and its reward, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise, for all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our days glad.
Please remain standing for our chalice lighting. When Maeve lights our chalice, I invite you to say our covenant out loud. Now the words are inside your programs. And online, hi YouTube friends, I haven't forgotten about you. You have hopefully downloaded the online order of service yourselves. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. You may be seated.
We come to the time in our worship service for joys, sorrows, and concerns. Those of you on YouTube Live, who are not in this room, but your presence is still felt. Please type your joys and sorrows into the text chat. If you have a joy, sorrow, or concern to submit during the week, please write to Reverend Ben at minister@uustpete.org.
Thanks, Emily Jacob Eisen, for putting a stone in the water for each one that was submitted this week. If you have any more cards, you still got a couple seconds to bring them up to
My name's
Allison,
Allison.
to Allison, or me, my worship team chair, Allison.
So if he forgets your name, it's not just you guys. You're good. So first, we have a joy from Gigi. So joy and gratitude to this community and the folk who helped me move the last of my dispensary into my home. They cheered, carried, imbibed, and wrote a sermon and simply blessed my home with their presence. Thank you.
Thanks for welcoming us, Gigi. A stone of sorrow, and this is from several of you. Our beloved Betsy Phils has died. Yep. Betsy was an active member of our church for many years. Her family has been in touch about a memorial service on Treasure Island later this year.
A stone of sorrow from Emily Chavi. Her sweet cat Dexter passed away this week.
A stone of sorrow from Batya Weinbaum. Trump dressed down Ukrainian President Zelensky in the Oval Office, and Russian media was live streaming.
I have a joy from Azariah for a new bike from the St. Pete Police Department.
That's great, Azariah. Yeah.
And
A
I
stone-
have
Sorry. Okay, a stone of concern from Barbie, dealing with existential dread while in an outpatient mental health facility.
I have a stone of concern for the all the protesters that are going to be protesting this week. Please give them protection.
That's all I have. So let's place a final stone for those joys and concerns and sorrows that remain in our hearts. Maybe they're too tender to be spoken out loud.
Thank you. And now it is time for a responsive reading. The words can be found in your order of service. This week we're reading our mission out loud. At the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg, our mission is
To be an inclusive, evolving religious community that inspires spiritual and intellectual growth.
to make the world a better place.
Thank you. May all of us find a comforting and compassionate presence in the warmth of fellowship, in the warmth of community. Because the mystery is that we are connected, isn't it? Even when we feel apart, we are connected. So let's rejoice in this beloved community that makes of the many one. And let's take about a minute of silence together.
All the
Hello. So, some of you guys may have heard me speak before, and most of my reflections have a heavy emphasis on pluralism. And apologies, I'm giving y'all a pop quiz today. Does anybody know what pluralism is defined as? I'm going to bring a microphone to someone who puts up their hands. I'm going to put my teacher hat on and call on the quiet people in the back if I need to.
Multiculturalism?
Pluralism is multiculturalism. Yes, that is one component. Oh, I saw a hand. I'm coming for you. Oh, that's not somewhere I could cross.
Having different beliefs that are basically the same thing. It's also different cultures, different interpretations of it.
Different than dualism.
Yes, different than dualism. Different cultures and having different definitions that kind of lead to the same place. Anybody else?
Well, from a philosophical perspective, I was about to Google it, but that wouldn't have been fair. From a philosophical perspective, for me, I was thinking singular versus plural from learning grammar in grade school, and to me, it's synonymous, you know, philosophically with inclusion, one versus many.
Yes. All right, this is your last chance. Oh, unless you join the worship team too. Like, you can talk on the microphone. I won't even do a background check.
Being able to honor and believe in more than one thing that are divergent at the same time, equally.
I love that. Being able to believe and honor more than one thing. You guys are great.
More than one ism. If you know what an ism is, you got it made.
More than one ism. Ism anybody gonna go? All right. Thank you all. Good, because I forgot to put my dictionary up here today. So, this doesn't belong up there. Thank you. So thank you guys. Like, pluralism, as with, it's just really, sorry, I'm catching my breath. It's just really fun to me that with the topic of pluralism, like how everyone sees it a little bit differently as you go through a crowd, which is pretty much the definition of pluralism. So all of y'all are right, and we're all kind of meeting in the same place. So because I've done a lot of sermons on pluralism before, I want to kind of come at this at a different angle than normal. And I want us all to kind of reflect on and define our own assumptions and how some of the ideas that you may take for granted contrast with other people and the rest of the world. So I'm going to ask you guys some questions, but this time, hold it in your mind. I like y'all, but I cannot get all of that at once. So I'm going to ask you some questions, keep it in your head, and think of the first thing that comes to mind. So the first question, who are you? Okay. So we're holding that in our mind. In your first thought, how many of you answered something like your name or role or profession? Like, I'm Allison. I'm a mom. I'm the worship team chair. Ben forgets my name sometimes, but it's okay. So if you thought something along those lines, like your name or your role, profession, like something about yourself, like I'm an artist, can you raise your hand? Okay. So on the other side, how many of you answered something like your family or membership or organization you're a part of? So if I say, who are you? My answer might be, oh, I'm part of the Lonke household, or I'm a Unitarian Universalist, or I'm a Floridian. unfortunately. That's okay. Did anybody have an answer that was like that, which was more who you are defined as something bigger you're a part of? Raise your hand. All right. So that, my friends, is an example of individualism versus collectivism, which I'm sure a lot of you guys know about intellectually, but I really want us to internalize what this means and reflect on how critical this small shift in perspective could be to someone's entire worldview. So it's the difference between viewing yourself as the whole main character. Yeah, I'm sure some of us have heard of main character energy, like going throughout life, like I'm doing this for me, really focused on yourself. Or seeing yourself as like a finger on the hand of something bigger, right? Are you the whole package or are you the finger? Not the middle, sorry. But like if I were to ask a young person about their career aspirations, an individualist might think, oh, I'm good at this, or I enjoy doing that, so here's what I want to do when I grow up. Whereas a young person who was raised in a more collectivist household might respond, you know, my community needs this, so that's what I'll do. Or I'm going to do that, so I'm going to do that so I can make enough money to support my family. Or I'm going to carry on my family legacy by doing this. So do you guys see the difference? So, and with how caught up most of us are in ourselves, can you see how this basic change in perspective would impact your day-to-day existence? So, can you see how an individualist might judge a collectivist as being a sheep? Or, hey, you need to assert yourself and forge your own path. You know, they might mean well, but a collectivist might judge an individualist as being selfish and arrogant. If you aren't making decisions with your family in mind, why are you even here? It's your responsibility to take care of your community, not indulge in your own delusions of grandeur. So who am I? And there are a handful of basic assumptions that we all make that deeply affect our worldviews. And it's mind-blowing to know like how many of these little different things there are that we don't even think about, that we take for granted. For example, did you know that US middle-class white culture is one of the very few cultures in the world that is future-oriented? Every day we're encouraged plan for the future, delay gratification. We should always be improving and making progress towards that brighter future. We commodify our time. It has value. Time is money. How many of you choose what you're doing based on what the clock says? I was freaking out because I accidentally slept in for the one time in my life with a toddler, and I was worried I was going to be late today. You know, how many of you choose what you're doing based on what day of the week it is? So I personally choose to make a priority to start services on time or meetings on the minute that it's supposed to start. And if someone's late, I might take that as being disrespectful because I was raised in an environment that values time. Don't waste my time. Guys, that is a middle-class white thing, y'all. So as a contrast, you know, you can choose to close your eyes or not. Close your eyes, take a breath. Imagine a time where you didn't have to pay attention to the clock. You got lost in a project, or you were on vacation exploring a new place, or you were with family or friends dancing the night away or sharing stories, or cleaning the house with the music on, or being nose deep in a book. Doesn't that feel good to be present? All right, we can open our eyes now. I forgot to wrote that bit in. So why don't we do that more often? Oh yeah, time is money. Don't waste your time. Stick to a strict schedule so you can maximize your day. If you're not working out, home cook, whole meals, all of the things that we should be doing, you're not maximizing your day because our time is so valuable. And just because a lot of us here share the same assumptions, that doesn't mean that we're right. Some cultures focus on the present. Some cultures focus on the past. There's a sacred feeling of reverence that some cultures hold dearly in their day-to-day rituals that our middle-class white Americans might only feel in a graveyard, that sense of reverence and deep respect for the past, or a historical building, or coming to a church like this. Even looking at socioeconomic class, there are big differences. So people who are poor tend to have a low regard for punctuality. Hoity-toity white folks might turn up their nose and view it as a moral failing or personal offense. How dare you waste my time by being late to our meeting? Counterpoint, how many of y'all have had to wait at a doctor's office for your appointment? You get there, my appointment is at 10:15 and I wasn't seen till 11:15. How rude. So now, if you're the receptionist at a business who's gonna you're choosing who to take back to the big boss, who are you gonna take back first? The polished gentleman who walked in unannounced with a Rolex and a briefcase filled with blank investment checks? Or the nonprofit lady who has an appointment scheduled but's asking for donations? I'll tell you what, if the receptionist does not prioritize investor man over beggar lady, she's losing her job. So over and over again, people who are in poverty or have less resources are shown that it doesn't matter if you arrive on time. They're gonna make you wait anyways. Heck, for a Saturday morning breakfast that we host here, there's usually the questions, is it supposed to start at 10 or 10:30? Because our volunteers normally don't come till closer to 10:15 or 10:30. This is food not bombs that host outside the church. Friday night suppers, you guys are good and on time. So thank you guys for that, by the way. So, it's, to be fair, volunteers on a Saturday morning are very hard to corral. But I digress. The point of what I'm saying is that not only do we have different experiences of the world, but we all have different underlying assumptions and values that interpret what those experiences mean. So here in our Unitarian Universalist Church, we ask you to keep an open mind and an open heart for pluralistic interpretations of the world and beliefs. And there's a chance that you don't understand how the heck somebody could have that belief. Like, how did they get there? That's ridiculous. I don't understand. But there's also a chance that your assumptions of the world are completely different from that person's. And that's okay. If the way we view ourselves, who am I, and view time can be different, doesn't that make for such a more beautifully diverse world? Thank you.
Not be hardened to those living on the margins. There is room at the table for everyone. This is where it all begins. This is how we gather in. There is room at the table for everyone. Oh, too long we have wandered, burdened and undone. But there is room at the table for everyone. This is how it all begins. Let us sing the new world in. There is room at the table for everyone.
Thank you, John. Thank you, James. Thank you, Tim. And thank you, Allison. Today is New Member Sunday, and in a minute we will be welcoming new members to the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg. Now, many of you have taken the classes that are required for membership here. My teaching pastor, Reverend Allison Palm of UU Nashua, New Hampshire, taught me much of what I now teach in these classes. When I was her intern, she was teaching a class called UU 101, and someone raised their hand and they asked, "Can Unitarian Universalists believe anything? I've heard they can believe anything." She said that this is a bit of a stereotype about our denomination, but also one that's kind of true. It is true that we do not require a specific set of beliefs. We do not have a creed, but Reverend Allison said something I had never heard before. She said it would be hard for folks to get along in a UU congregation if they believed in hell, or if they believed their way is the only way. Now, at that point, I thought that we could believe anything, stereotypes. So I was like, oh, really? And she didn't say, we'll keep you out. What she said was, it might not be a good fit. She was talking about fundamentalism with that second thing, with the my way is the only way. And that's today's worship service title, Fundamentalism or Pluralism. And it's the first in our theme this month of the practice of trust. I'm going to begin with a quote from UU Reverend Dr. Rosemary Bray McNatt, who is the head of the Star King School of Unitarian Universalism. Dr. McNatt once described fundamentalism as perhaps our most pernicious enemy. She said the rise of fundamentalisms of every kind, fundamentalisms of the mind, fundamentalisms of religion, fundamentalisms of politics, should both alarm and galvanize us. She said fundamentalism is antithetical to freedom, and it should encourage us, she said, for so long as fundamentalists in every walk of life attempt to close the doors and the minds of the world, we will have work to do. Some of you are new, and some of you are new to Unitarian Universalism. So no, we don't have a creed. We do have 7 cherished values, and one of those values is pluralism, that you all defined so well during the brainstorm. On the fundamentalism versus pluralism side, I'm just going to give it away and say I'm on the pluralism side. That's probably not a surprise to any of you. But I am going to challenge you to maybe a higher level of pluralism than you currently may practice. Dr. McNatt talked about 3 types of fundamentalism. I'm going to address all 3. Religious fundamentalism first. Now, the stereotype that comes to my mind with religious fundamentalism is a Christian fundamentalist or a Muslim fundamentalist, but fundamentalism exists everywhere. Humanists can be fundamentalists. Some of, in fact, the best-known atheists, like Christopher Hitchens, proclaim their atheism by characterizing people who believe in a supreme being as delusional or crazy. Now, most of you are not lifelong UUs, some of you are, but many of you come from other denominations, and some of those denominations did you harm. So I can see the temptation to speak out against those beliefs that did you harm from those places that gave you religious trauma. And please remember, others in the room here cherish those very same beliefs that you now disagree with. So if we speak out against Christians or Muslims or pagans or atheists, we are speaking out against other beloveds in this room whom you have pledged to side with. I mean, by all means, if you need to heal from religious trauma, and many of us do, let's do that. Let's do that together. And let's not trash others' belief systems that you do not share. So the monthly theme is the practice of trust. And trust is hard, right? Especially if you've been hurt. Pluralism is hard. Heck, Unitarian Universalism is hard. You have to want it. To be a UU, you can't just proclaim your individual freedom of worship. To be a UU, that means you support my freedom of worship even if you otherwise oppose it. You have to trust me, even when you disagree with me. I've talked about the Teach Tolerance stickers from here before. Anyone get those stickers in the mail, Teach Tolerance? And, it's nice, Teach Tolerance, it sounds good, but I'd like us to aim for something more than tolerance. I won't bring the microphone around, but I want to see what you think would be a better word than tolerance, something we should aspire to. Yeah. Acceptance, yep. Affirmation, yes, Pat? Celebration, yes. Understanding, thank you. Inclusion, thank you. For today, I'm going to use celebration. I'll also use tolerance, and I'll use curiosity. Many of you know my personal spiritual beliefs, I'm a pagan and I'm a pantheist. By that I mean that the earth, I believe, is alive and is a living mother goddess, paganism. I also believe that divine energy is not just in one individual, definitely not an old white guy with a beard on a throne. I believe that pantheism is, I believe that divine energy is in everything, everyone. So if someone joins the church who doesn't believe that, let's say they're Christian, they believe that Jesus is the Son of God. At the very least, I have to tolerate that. But I'd much rather be curious, not just tolerant. Really? You believe Jesus is the Son of God? That fascinates me. Tell me more. I'd rather celebrate their beliefs, as Cynthia said, even if they're not mine, even if we disagree, even if otherwise I would argue against that belief. From tolerance to curiosity to celebration. Bob and I, we were talking this week in my office, and we talked about this topic, about religious beliefs different than ours. There's curiosity, celebration, and then there's participation. I confess to him that when I'm with someone who is worshiping in a different way than me, I really love doing it. I kind of immerse myself in it. I try not to be culturally appropriate, but when Muslims invite me to pray alongside them, for one thing, it's a great honor, and I feel that honor, and I will do it. I will go down Allahu Akbar, and it feels like a real prayer to me. So they have a pagan pantheist next to them praying a Muslim prayer saying Allahu Akbar. And I'm curious. Tell me about your belief in Allah as God and Muhammad as his prophet. And celebration, like many of us are doing at the iftar dinner on March 18th. All right, so that's religious fundamentalism versus religious pluralism. Sometimes pluralism isn't just our beliefs, it's who we are. And for some of us, who we are might get us thrown out of other churches, right? Trans people, non-binary people, LGBTQIA plus people, people who need abortion care, undocumented people, all are welcome here, all are celebrated here. And those of us who don't share any of those particular marginalized identities, let's do more than tolerate. Let's be curious. Let's celebrate. Let's support the leadership of those of us in this community who are trans, who are non-binary, who need abortion care, who are undocumented, who are otherwise marginalized. ICE is still not welcome here, but marginalized people are. Right. Here at UU St. Pete, I think we are actually getting better at centering and celebrating those on the margins, and I think we're getting better at celebrating others' beliefs, even if they're different from ours. But there's a third category that I think we still need work on. We need work when we disagree on how paintings are hung, where tables should go and chairs should go, what color the walls should be painted. We need work on that. Is Jeff here? I think it was Jeff who facilitated that decision on the color of these walls. Some churches split over the color of the walls, and Jeff facilitated that very skillfully, those of you who were here for this. As I recall, there was spirited debate and also compromise. All voices were valued, were heard. He made sure of this. And in the end, we chose a color that almost everyone agreed with. Almost. So imagine you're one of the ones who now have to stare at this color you hate. How do you respond to that? Well, there's some choices you have. I can think of 5 choices how you can respond. You can leave. I am leaving. I will not worship in a church with this color on the wall. That's your first choice. The second choice is you can stay here and then just glare at the wall the whole time and hate it and complain to everyone. Can you believe they painted the church this way? And complain about the leaders, these idiots that chose them. Yeah. 3, now we've gotten to tolerance. We've gotten to the tolerance level. Okay, I don't like the color, but it was a democratic process and they chose the thing. And 4, curiosity. You can ask someone who loved the color, who voted for the color. You love the color, Jerry? That's good. Okay, because I care about Jerry. I want to know tell me how this color speaks to you. Doesn't speak to me. Well, tell me how it speaks to you. And 5, celebration. Especially if someone beloved like Jerry loves the color. Oh, that means a lot to me. If you love the color, I think it's gross, but I can celebrate because you being happy is really important to me. Follow me? Pluralism, not fundamentalism. Curiosity and celebration, not just tolerance. I will close by revisiting our beautiful church covenant that we said together as we lit our chalice. But if we truly are going to seek the truth in love, let us disagree and stay connected. Let us approach differences, a perspective and opinion with curiosity and patience. Let's seek to avoid stereotypes, assumptions, and judgments. Let us participate in healthy debate and learn something from others, even those with whom we disagree. And if we are truly going to dwell together in peace, let us celebrate diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let us embrace inclusivity and opportunities to learn and grow. Let us strive to experience ourselves and other community members as multidimensional individuals, complex and filled with value. Let us hold accountable anyone who behaves in ways counter to this covenant. And let's not speak to anyone in a hateful, harmful, or hurtful way. And if we truly are going to help one another, may we fulfill our commitments to the church community with kindness. May we honor the time and efforts of those who serve alongside us, volunteers as well as church staff. May we meet with another community member face to face when issues or misunderstandings arise. May we not opt out of potential resolution, but seek unbiased assistance when necessary, and may we seek opportunities for personal spiritual growth in these interactions. Dr. McNatt said that fundamentalism is antithetical to freedom, so may we move from fundamentalism to pluralism, from tolerance to curiosity and celebration. There is room at the table for everyone. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be.
Thank you, Ben. This Sunday is Social Justice Share the Plate Sunday, where half of the loose offerings will go to support the operation of this church, and half of the plate goes to the social justice community efforts. This month, we are supporting the Friday night sunset supper, averaging over 100 balanced meals per week for those that are hungry. Please be generous.
And also, if you haven't made your pledge for the next church year, now is a great time to do that. There are codes on the wall. You can scan them with your phone and make your annual pledge for the next church year, as well as putting something into the plate right now. Here in the sanctuary, the offering will now be given and received. What's given in love we receive with great joy. Thank you. I want to invite all new members to come forward. I see some of you. Come on up. It is New Member Sunday. And by that I mean people who maybe have not been recognized at a New Member Sunday. So if you took the class like a year ago and you never got to be recognized, you can come up then too. Barbie, it's lovely to see you. So our chairs of our membership team are here. Paul and Carrie Showalter. Hey, hi Emily. Hey. Barbara, I have your name tag. Please give a round of applause for our new members who are joining us today. Thank you.
As co-chair of the member team with Carrie, I want to welcome you all to our wonderful UU St. Pete congregation. We're delighted you have made the decision to embrace the values that guide each one of us and invite us to become our best selves.
All of us are energized by your commitment to our congregation. Each one of you brings a unique experience and perspective of what it means to be a part of a spiritual community. You challenge us to continue our search for truth and meaning, to be part of the interdependent web where we respect and value each other.
We invite you to view today as a first step. Seek to continue your journey to become wholeheartedly engaged in the multiple aspects of our community that call to you and serve others. We will reach out to you and ask you to reach out to us individually and collectively.
Many thanks for putting your trust in our congregation. We welcome you with open arms.
Thanks, Carrie, and thank you, Paul. A lot of you were here about a year ago when a handful of protesters gathered outside. As we walked in, they yelled at us, saying we're going to hell, saying they were baby killers, they had big signs, and that we should fear God. Since then, our country elected a president who shares many of these same beliefs. And despite that, or maybe because of it, you've chosen to join us in this essential work to build community. Here at UU St. Pete, people have gathered for over a century, seeking a higher purpose and a deeper life than they could find alone. We are grateful today for each one of you that you have found your way here and that you've decided to make a commitment to this faith community. We hope that as members of this community, you will allow yourselves to know and to be known, to minister to and be ministered to love and be loved by this congregation. So if you're willing, you have an affirmation in your hands. Would you say it together? I affirm my commitment to this congregation and the responsibilities that it entails. I enter this community willing to grow and ready to serve. Thank you. We have a part to play too, the rest of us. It's as important as their pledge is our pledge to be with them. So if you're willing to open your hearts and your minds to those joining us today, please read the congregational response. It's printed in your order of service. We, the members, friends, Unitarian Universalist Church, St. Petersburg, welcome you to this congregation. We pledge to be a supportive community that respects who you are and affirms all you can become. Cry with us, laugh with us, work with us. Together we seek the highest good. We're glad that you found in us home for your spirit. Welcome to you, St. Pete friends. So wait, don't go yet, because we take a picture, she takes a picture that way, and then they take a picture from behind, so you see everyone else behind. And there's gifts, we have gift bags, maybe not enough gift bags. So if you don't get a gift bag, where's Rebecca? Tell Rebecca that you didn't get a gift bag, and we'll get you a gift bag. All right, that's photo number one. Now you all turn and face back, and then she takes a picture of you. Everybody behind. You are present there too. Carrie's like, I'm not tall enough. Paul has to do it. Yay, thank you. While they're getting their bags, let's sing our closing hymn. It's number 1028 in the Teal hymnal, one of my favorites, The Fire of Commitment. Can John lead a hymn with all this going on right around him?
Should we stay or go? Should we stay or go?
You may be seated.
Please rise as you are able and willing to sing number 1028. From the light of days remember, burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and the future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
You may be seated. At this time, I'm going to stall for time while Tim goes to the organ to play the postlude. So,
We do have coffee hour after all this in Gilmore. It's right over there. And if you see somebody that's not talking to anyone, go up, say hello. There's also time with the minister, a smaller group where it's easier to hear in the library. What else do you have to stall with?
what I have to stall with is I am so thankful to be part of this congregation where perfection doesn't exist. There's no one true right. So thank you for allowing me to be wrong many times every day, and I will grace you with the same thing.
Thank you for your grace and for your example of imperfection.
Thank you, Tim. So now is the time in the service where we extinguish our flame. We invite you to follow along with the hand gestures, the light of truth, the warmth of love, and the fire of courage as V extinguishes our chalice. The words to UUSP's traditional chalice extinguishing are in your order of service and online in the text chat. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of courage. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world.
Our worship is over, but our service begins. Thank you, Chris McDonald, for reminding us that there's cake, because it's New Members Sunday, so we get cake. Thank you to the membership team for getting that cake. We hope this time together this Sunday will help you through your week and will help you remember you are not alone. Blessings, everyone.